Okay, we're going to take a look at August the 29th and some more scalpings for educational purposes. I am your Forex University professor here at yourforexuniversity.com, and we're going to learn some things about scalping because scalping is very, I was going to say fun, but that's only when you're making money. But you'll make money if you learn the QuickView. Here are our QuickView levels on the chart, and this is the Japanese yen. Now, for Friday the 29th on the Japanese yen, we kind of had a situation where we were looking at things going both ways. It could go long or short. We were getting a what we call seesaw signal. There was a void between here and here, which never, if was taken. There was nothing ever price never reached this area. So that momentum scalp obviously never set itself up. We had a smaller, less attractive void, but a void nevertheless. Because of the yen having its small range, we were able to look at this void here for the longs. Now, it did set itself up, and it did fill, and the stops would have started out here. And actually, sorry about that. We filled the targets before reaching the stops down here. All right, I'm sorry, we never even did reach the stops, and there was another target here that was taken. Barely made it. So that turned out good in the long, for going long side. We never did get anything from our short sides. Let's go to the next one. The franc. On the franc, we had a void right here between the 149 and the 169. Perfect 20, right? Okay, so we're starting out pretty much right there. So we didn't really take it right away. We need to see something set itself up, So it did come up mid-term into the void, worked its way down into the support area, and touched the bottom of that support area, which gave us our signaling for, okay, we're ready to bounce now. Okay, you don't bounce off of nothing. Even though your price levels are there, you don't. The price needs some kind of push, or pull to give it a reaction. Like right here, had to come down and bounce from something. This is something that it had to touch, a price level. It had to reject it to get it to go into this movement to the upside. So here we get the close above this area that we just left after coming down into it, and now we fill our limit orders to buy, limit order to buy, limit order to buy. Would have taken another limit order to buy, but it never got there. So there's 3 limit orders to buy. Target 1, target 2, target 3 never filled. So you close out the end of the day. Always let that stuff go when you're scalping at the end of the day. All right, let's go to the next move here. This was the Canadian dollar. Now the Canadian dollar, if you were taking a short trying to grab this great big void between here and here, down here at the bottom at this GAN level, obviously you would have been stopped out for a loss. Fortunately for us, we were looking at long positions on the Canadian dollar, so that kept us from bothering with trying to fall in that, because we weren't looking for shorts on the Canadian dollar. Thank goodness. Okay, here's the Kiwi. Now on the Kiwi we had another, like the yen, we were looking both long and short. In this instance, you can see that you have a void right here. I can't find my marker. Where's my marker? Here we go. Void was between here and here, and we had a void between here and here. These are our substantial areas, our substantial voids. Now there was a small void between this area here and here. However, this is not the yin. So this 15, 16 pip void, it works okay for the yin, not so much for the kiwi. So this is why it's really not, if you were, it's just not good enough. But here we have a 20 pip void between 72 and 92, right here. And this nice juicy void here was 30, almost 30 pips or more. But of course we never got a close or anything like that below that. So we did get a confirmation here, and then a fill here, and then of course the target was taken there and came back, did it again, but never filled. So it turned out to be a one-time shot on the kiwi. So let's see what else did we get here on the pound. There was a fake out and going long on this, and a stop. It would have been stopped out going long on this. The only thing is, I believe that we were short on the pound for Friday. Yeah, we were short on the pound on Friday. So we weren't looking for longs, but if you were looking for a long, this void would have got you salivating, thinking, oh boy, this is going to be great, but only to stop you out. There were no short voids that we could find on the pound. So that was, as far as scalping is concerned, that's a no entry day. Didn't even really look for anything on that. Here on the euro, we were short. We were looking for shorts, but no real voids, except for what we had between here and here, and everything else is really spread out apart. I mean, we're not getting lines really close together. This dotted line, this is a Lone Ranger, so that's significant, along with this pivot line here. Actually, they're on the same day, but we had to separate them a little bit in order to see them. And we could have taken this short. Actually, we did, when just in a day trade. But let me show you how you would scalp this. Once we've gotten this and we're seeing it's not really bouncing, or wherever it is, whatever resistance is, you simply take trend lines. And that's not a good trend line, but you would see that this trend line would have had a close below the trend line and broke it. You could take a order there, a stop order there, and as well hope that it'll come back to touch that area again like it did here. Take another limit order there and put your stops above your highs or your next area, depending on what your risk tolerance is, and set your targets here and here and here. So the euro, doing that style of scalping with the trend lines would have been great. Also, you don't necessarily have to, when you're doing the scalping, you don't necessarily have to use the trend lines, because you've got your trend channels here. So here was the close below the trend channel after touching. Now I want to show you this also too, but this is still the area even without writing in that trend channel, because trend line, because the trend channel closed below the trend channel and broke it after touching some resistance. Notice it touched the resistance here and had a close below the trend channel, but it never broke, so that's not a signal. Touched it again, had a close below, come back, it didn't go below the trend line. Now it closes below the trend line, but it doesn't break the low, right? So you just keep going. Now you finally get a close below the trend channel and a break, and that's when it took place. Show you this one more time. We touched the resistance. Okay, great. Oh, we closed below the trend channel. Okay, great, but it never broke it. Okay, never broke that. So it kept going. Touched it again. Well, we get a close below the trend channel here, but we don't break the low of the close that broke the trend channel. Did not happen. Touched it again. Closed below the trend channel, and then it breached it on this next one. It has to be on that next one. And then it kind of retraced, touched the trend channel, it kept coming down and went back, revisited our resistance area one last time, and away it went. That's beautiful. I just think that's just so beautiful. Alright, and our next one on the Australian dollar, no real setup. As you can see, you've just got lines flat all across the place with no real voids anywhere, so there were no scalp entries to take. And that's it for the 29th. I'm your Forex University professor at yourforexuniversity.com, wishing you all the profitability in your trading.